Another piece of trim work we want to look at in this house to add some detail would be this particular vent piece here. And I believe that's the only vent in this project. Let's take a quick look, make sure we're not missing anything. I don't see anything there. It's pretty common for it to only be on the front. But again, you just want to look for these miscellaneous trim details and just make sure you're copying everything or detailing everything that you need to. So let's take a look at this. We have some dimensions over here. Looks like it's 12 by what was that 19, so 111, 21, so 2 foot 1 total. So 12 by 2 foot 1, and we have a section that is inch and a half. In fact, really what we could do, since we have this section, maybe we'll do it this way. We'll do a polyline. You'll notice that this detail even shows the slope for the water to run off, so we'll put that in there as well. And so we'll run through and quickly do our polyline detail of polyline outline of the detail that we can bring in. And again, the piece we would want to check is the scale, because typically these details are bigger than 1:1. So we know that this is 3 inches. So let's pull this aside. You can see we're way bigger because this is to scale. So we'll just quickly scale this thing. We'll scale, reference, base point from here to there, and there we go. This is now to scale. So we will W block this and bring it in. Maybe I'll build it here first. We've looked at this previously. This is my roof parts, which currently has some vents on here. So maybe I'll build it here. Maybe eventually I'll make an additional file that has just wall vents. So we'll bring this in and put it next to, say, this vent, and we'll rotate it, say 90 degrees that way, and then we'll rotate. Whoop, we want to rotate like this. Looking at our detail, we just want to remember that we are 12 inches wide, and we're also going to have these 2-inch 2-inch side pieces, and we'll add that in a second. And we extend 4 inches. So let's come in here. We will use our make base command. Just makes things so much easier. We know that this is 12 inches, and we know we want to pull this out. I know it says 4 on the detail, which is what we should do, but I'm just going to do it 2 because that's what we've been doing in our model. So we'll leave it like that. And I'm going to turn this into a group, and now we need to add this piece in right here. You see we have it on top and bottom, and the quick easy way of doing that is simply just draw on this rectangle, coming over 2 inches. We'll make that a group and slide that there, and there you go. And using our solid tools, boom, boom. And so again, I can't speak enough about how easy solid tools are to use in modeling. So maybe we'll come back and say make this a component, and I'm going to move this down here just to have my insertion point right at the 0, 0. Just always nice to keep things clean that way. So now that we have this piece built, we'll copy it, zoom out and save that model just so we're good to go with that one. And we'll come into our trim package grouping, and we will paste it in. Now we just need to center it, so we'll grab by the center point, and we know that's a center, and we want to go there so we know we're against the wall. And I'm going to pull this all the way down to my 0, 0 reference, and we will go to our CAD file, and we will see our height I'm actually going to measure from here because that's where I have it right now. And we need to go up 11 foot 8. Easy enough. So go back to our model and slide this up 11 foot 8. And that's where he wants to live. So there's our trim. Looks just like our CAD file now. And let's just double check. It seems like there might be a slight discrepancy. Not a big deal, really, either way. 2 feet and 2 foot 5. So maybe I'm going to stretch this a little bit just to make it a little nicer. And I'm actually, to do that, we're going to take some insurance out of getting this 2-inch piece to stay as a 2-inch piece. I'll slide this all the way back. You'll see what I mean in a second. That we really want this whole thing to be 24 inches, where right now it's slightly bigger. I'm going to isolate the model and grab just the piece we need. So I'll show you everything that I'm grabbing. There we go. So I don't want anything to do with this top trim. I want that to scale just as is. And in fact, what I also want to do is I want to isolate this out because I don't want this top 2-inch trim to change either. So we'll do that. There we go. And we can come back and clean this up in just a minute. So now what I want to do is grab all of this so you can see the part I'm going to scale. So we'll grab this and scale it to there. And so now we know that we're going to put this 2-inch piece back in. So let's just slide this up to there. We can get rid of those construction pieces, slide this down, and let's start cleaning up. And so you can see how you use the solid tools and as well as scale tools, and just really start putting all the pieces together to quickly model things. So that looks a little nicer, a little more in proportion with what the CAD file was. So there's that detail. Now what I did also want to show you is how maybe we'll do, say, a recessed version. So we'll move this over, say, to here, just to kind of get out of the way, maybe 15 feet. And what we can look at is we're going to come to our wall, and knowing we're coming right off the midpoint, say we'll go down there. We know we were 12 inches wide, so let's go 6 inches, 24 inches, 12, and come back down. Erase, erase. So there we go. So there's our perfect location. Maybe this is recessed in 4 inches. So you can see in our wall, we now have a 4-inch recess in the wall. We can come back to our trims, and what I'm going to want to do is, we're going to build our vent, faux vent that fits in, whatever it is. And so I'm just going around. I'll show you the shape I'm making in just a second. So I have this, so you can see that this would be the backing, this would be the side, and this would be our side trim. And really all that's left is, let me grab this right here because that's the shape we wanted to follow. Come back into my trim. I'll slide this back here just a little bit and say click here and tell this to follow this. Let me clean this up a little bit, reverse faces. And so there's our trim. I'm actually going to grab this and move him over here. Let's make this into a group. And we want to add this header on. And so we can put him right there, turn this into a group and I can combine these two. Maybe we'll slide this. Actually, we'll slide this down a little bit. And there we go. So there's the recess. And then if we wanted, we can come, let's say we would do a 1x4 wooden slat, make him a component, and we can rotate this, let's go 45 degrees, and maybe, to quote Bob Ross, his happy home is right there, maybe back an inch, and we will just pull him over, and then you can copy this down. Let's go 3.5 inches, and we'll add 4, 5, 6. So there you go. So there's more of what would look like a more realistic shutter, or excuse me, vent, even if it is a faux vent. Maybe it's a painted black backing, so that it looks like a real vent. And so again, it's all in what you want to do, what the purpose of the architecture is, if it's a builder home or a nicer home, and you just the real detail you want to bring it to, as well as the model detail you want to bring it to. So more importantly, just want to show you two different ways that you can build this. But we'll plop this guy back in right where he needs to go. And that should just about wrap up the trim on this particular house. And again, showing you how to make vent two different ways.